The story is about the conflict between the petit bourgeois society, or the normal world, and a different concept of freedom, of not being bound by rules. It is personified by Don José, who comes from a rural life, grown up in a surrounding with rules. He is a soldier. He has always made his job well. His mother brought him up with a lot of care, and he meets with Carmen, this woman who is entirely free, in a super self-confident person who has never done any compromise but lives her life. So if you want to say, she is like utopic concept of an emancipated woman. So it's therefore still the independent woman that causes actually a danger for the man who is trying to live along his rules. Carmen is certainly, I think, maybe the most successful opera of all times. It is actually the archetype of opera, and it's combined. So it's associated with a lot of images, of course, by the audience, which is the gypsy world, or which is the Spanish world. By the time when Bizet wrote this piece, Spain was very exotic and very remote. But today, of course, everybody in Europe has been to Spain once, or is very familiar with all kinds of like flamenco shows and all that. So there's an imagery which is very much connected with the tourist image of Spain. If you approach the opera, you have to, in a way, go back to the roots. And one way, of course, could be to take the novel of Prosper Mérimée and say, okay, what's in that novel, and try to adapt to that. But I feel that is as well problematic, because on the stage you then still have to put some other world, some other social situation. So what we did with our production is that we try to go back, not to Mérimée, but go back to the Opéra-Comique. The story in its operatic form is actually is Carmen, much more than the novel where it generates from. We thought, why not put it on the stage of the Opéra-Comique? So make the stage of the Opéra-Comique the location where it happens, where it was first created. The plot of the opera would be somewhere in the imagination, and we just see the characters and the figures from the opera coming together and recreating this piece with basically nothing. So with no set, just to concentrate on the characters, on the protagonists, and on this incredibly well crafted drama. If you want to cast the perfect Carmen, of course you have to have the voice, the right voice for it, like always in opera. But like with very few other characters on a stage, Carmen can not be sung by any woman who just has the right voice. You need the right personality who can incorporate all these different colors, like the erotic one, also the seductive one, the dangerous one, and therefore I'm very happy with Gaëlle, because she also has a very clear path how she approaches the role. She has done it a few times. It's really a dialogue, which I think is very, very fruitful, and which I also think it's really the only way. So it's not like the director comes in and says, okay, Carmen is such and such and such, and now you do it. But it's like I often pose the question. I say, so now we have the situation. What do you think you would do? How you would do in this? And then she says, I don't know. I don't know, maybe this. And then I say, but maybe we go even further down on that track. So it's very much a give and take with this role.